Welcome, football fans, to opening night for high school football. This is the moment these teams have been waiting for all summer, and some even longer. The Henley Hornets open the season on the road against the Seaside Seagulls. Good evening, everybody. My name is Josh Eldridge, and I'm joined by Kevin Petrick. We're coming to you live from Broadway Field in Seaside, Oregon. The Hornets have traveled 360 miles for this ball game, and they look ready to go. I'll tell you what, I love Week 1 football. I know I got jitters up here. I'm sure the players do as well. Kevin, how you feeling about Week 1?
Yeah, this season looks to be terrific. I'd say this is a season of expectations. Last year we didn't really know what to expect. This year we kind of know what the players will be like that we've seen before. We'll have some new ones in there tonight. It'll be fun. Yeah,
a lot of people talking about this Hornets team around the state. We'll dive more into the Hornets as we continue the pregame show, but like you said, a lot of returning talent we'll get to know as we move through the pregame show. These seniors on the road, opening week, how important are these returning guys to this team this season?
Well, not only are they going to be good leaders, but you will see their performance on the field, and I think that's probably the most important thing for the Hornets this year. The sooner they can get those new players to catch up to speed with the guys that came back from last year, and that's going to be the motor that gets them some wins, yes.
All right, we're really excited for it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue to take a tour around the state of Oregon. We'll tell you what's going on in high school and college sports coming up. We'll also dive a little bit more into this matchup. Then it's time for the coin toss and kickoff. You've got Henley football on the road tonight against Seaside on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on MyBasin.
There are many threads that run through our read.
What rhymes great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
The road can be a crazy place. Uh-oh! That's why Les Schwab Tires fixes brakes, steering, and more. And those guys don't. Keep driving. I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first, so I can backseat drive with confidence.
Hit the road safely with Les Schwab and save up to $200 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager of Clown Falls Honda and Clown Falls Subaru. I've lived here my whole life. Most of our employees have lived here their whole life too. Our sales, service, parts, and body shop teams are all staffed with experienced local folks. You know them and they know you. Our dealerships are comfortable and not corporate. Comfortable means we're focused on you. I'm Rob, and I'm glad to know you.
Welcome back to 104.3 and 960 Sports. We've got Henley football tonight on mybasin.com. We're broadcasting live from beautiful Seaside, Oregon. It's about 60 degrees, a little bit of forecast with the clouds, or overcast rather. Sun setting in a few minutes. We should get into the 50s by the time the game continues. Tonight we're getting ready for kickoff between the Seagulls and the Hornets. I'm Josh Eldridge with Kevin Petrick. We're still a few minutes away from kickoff. Hornets are playing in a new conference this year, Kevin, the Big Sky Conference. It's a non-league game tonight, but adding a couple teams this year. You got Seaside in front of you right now, but you can't help but look forward to playing teams like Marshfield, Ashland, and North Bend down the line. It's really shaping up to be interesting in terms of a really tough schedule for Henley this year.
Yeah, big changes this year for sure. The teams that we've added to our conference, they're exceptional. And the good news for Henley is that they have the talent to compete, because if you don't in this league, it's going to be a long season. So a lot of interesting, good games between top 10 teams coming up. It should be exciting. Yeah,
we've got a real interesting slate of games tonight. I mean, we've got Mazama in our league playing Estacada. I mean, that is a big game for ramifications of the state. As far as the coaches poll is concerned, that's number 3 and number 4 right there. That's going to be an exciting one. We've got Klamath Union at home against Woodburn tonight. Hidden Valley is on the road against North Eugene. Ashland is playing Eagle Point. Marshfield at home against Tillamook, and North Bend is at home against Crater. But, I mean, even in week 1, these teams are starting to get battle-tested for, like what you said, is sure to be a really tough league season.
Right.
Klamath Basin schedule. We've got some other teams from the Basin tonight. Lost River on the road against Adrian. Bonanza is at home against Tule Lake. And we'd be remiss to not remind you that college football kicks off tomorrow as well. Oregon against Georgia in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Oregon State, Boise State tomorrow night at Reser Stadium. And then in some smaller college ball, Southern Oregon at Montana State Northern. Should be a great weekend for college football too. Kev, are you going to be keeping your eye on that Oregon-Georgia game?
Yeah, probably driving home tomorrow. I'll be listening to that one very intently, yes.
Should be a lot of fun. We've got a little bit more time before kickoff tonight. We're going to dive a little bit more into this specific matchup. We're going to meet the Hornets. We're going to talk about the Seagulls a bit as we continue our coverage in the pregame show on 104.3 and 960 Sports. You've got Henley Hornets football on the road against the Seaside Seagulls with free HD video on mybasin.com. Keep it here.
During COVID, I gained over 24 pounds. I lost motivation in working out. I lost motivation in eating healthy. And for me, if I'm not active, I just don't eat well. But then I started taking a class at Harbor's gym called High Low. The first week I felt like I didn't fit in and I couldn't do it. But the instructor was so kind and thanked me for coming and told me how well I did. I was like, no, I wasn't, but it made me come back the next week and the next week. And soon enough, I was keeping up with the class. I started introducing more classes and then going Saturdays. I learned how to lift weights accurately with repetition. I started lifting on my own. I started golfing too with my husband. And all of a sudden, I was buying salads instead of sandwiches. Small victories happened week by week, and it's 100% because of Harbor, their staff, their gym, the golf. My husband is getting out of the house and working out with me. His golf game is increasing, we're lifting together, and we feel good. Harbor, where I lost my reins and got my gains.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager of Clown Falls Honda and Clown Falls Subaru. I've lived here my whole life. Most of our employees have lived here their whole life too. Our sales, service, parts, and body shop teams are all staffed with experienced local folks. You know them, and they know you. Our dealerships are comfortable and not corporate. Comfortable means we're focused on you. I'm Rob, and I'm glad to know you.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Welcome back to Henley Football on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com. Just a few minutes away from kickoff as Henley takes on Seaside in Week 1. Let's take a look at this Henley roster, Kev. We've got Shaw Stork returning at quarterback, a receiver. Owen Sheen was very good last season. And you and I were talking about Logan Whitlock at the running position. He had a good showing in the first few weeks last year. He got hurt, but we're thinking he might be back with a vengeance this season. What do you see when you look at these guys?
Yeah, offensively, I think the running game is something we should keep an eye on tonight. I'm very curious to see how this new batch of runners fill in for last year's group. Logan is quick. I watched him play JV and freshman ball. He really has potential. It's going to be fun to watch him tonight.
Talk a little bit about Shaw Stork. He mystified teams with his legs last year, running all over the place, 900 yards, 15 touchdowns rushing. The question mark for him has always been, can he complete the ball over the middle? Can he complete that deep pass? He's been telling me he's feeling confident. That's going to be a big key to Henley's success this year. We also have a look at Seaside as actually we're going to take one last break in the pregame show as we get ready for the national anthem, coin toss, and kickoff coming up on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Wait, all I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
And we welcome you back to Henley Football on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Free HD video available on mybasin.com. We're talking about this matchup between the Hornets and the Seaside Seagulls. And as we take a look at this Seaside roster, everything we hear from Henley is about the athleticism of this team. At the running back spot, you've got guys like Jake White. Brady Jackson, Kev, is one of their running backs. He competed in the 100-meter at the state track and field meet last year. So they've got some runners on this team. Also returning is their all-league linebacker, Izzy Yantes. He was all-league as a freshman and a sophomore. Now coming back for his junior season. This Seaside team is pretty athletic, Kev.
Yeah, Seaside's always talented. Every time we come up here, it's always a game for sure, and they will compete. It will be a good one.
You talk about that Henley has been up here before. These two teams last played September 7th, 2019. It was a Henley win back at home. 14-7 was the final score. And for Seaside, that was the last time they lost on opening day, was against those Hornets back in Klamath Falls. So these two teams, a little bit of history. You look at Coach Tanabe in his 4th season with Seaside. He's got a 10-11 record in that time. For Coach Alex Stork, entering his 6th season, he is 28-17 in those years. You know, the last 2 seasons, dating back to 2019, Henley hasn't collected more than 3 losses in a season. So this coaching staff has really built a solid program, looking to get a real important season started here tonight on the road against Seaside. Looks like Seaside has won the toss and has chosen to receive the football to start things tonight. The Seagulls in red from head to toe tonight with the white helmets. They've got a red stripe going down the center and white numbering and lettering across the front and the back. For the Hornets tonight, their navy blue helmets with the yellow H on the side. Some new away uniforms this year for the Hornets, kind of white with navy sleeves. They've got yellow numbers with navy trim, yellow pants, and kind of a navy blue stripe going down the side. These kids were real excited about debuting their new uniforms. I think they got new home uniforms too, Kev.
Yeah, new uniforms are always kind of a snazzy thing to show off for sure. Good crowd here from Henley, the Henley folks. And I could tell before I even got in the stadium because all of the cars with the green bugs on the front.
Yes, that is very true.
That's a Klamath fan right there.
Yeah, our car is no exception.
Yeah.
All right, the Seagulls, when they receive, they are going to be going from right to left as our vantage point faces north here at Broadway Field in Seaside. The Seagulls will be attacking the west goal. Kicking for the Hornets is Cole Davis as we get things started. The kick is up. It bounces around about the 5-yard line, kicks around, is going to be fielded at the 1. Bringing it up to about the 15 and down before reaching the 20. And that is where Seaside will start this ball game. Their starting quarterback, Tanner Crashour, coming back. Crashour, one of the highlighted players about this team. When you talk about the noise that Seaside is making around the state, be curious to see how Crashour does.
Looked like Justin Elbert in on the first tackle of the season. Nice special teams play. That was a nice kickoff. Kind of died right around the 1-yard line, made it tough to return.
And we saw a lot of that last year for the Hornets too. So good special teams, at least so far, and last season for Henley.
Yeah.
Crashour starting under center, man in motion, and looks like it's going to be a handoff up the middle, stuffed after a gain of about 8. As we'll get you the starters for Seaside in just a moment.
For the Hornets, we want to focus on the middle of the Hornets defense. Around the perimeter, they're quite good. The linebackers are new this year. We'll see how they play.
Off to the outside back, and that's going to be Brady Jackson, who we mentioned was a competitor in the 100-meter in the state track and field meet last year. He's got some legs underneath him as he picks up Seaside's first down.
Looked like Tyler Harper with the stop.
11:13 to go in the first quarter. Just getting started from Seaside tonight. Crashour dropping back, now moving up. He's got a little bit of room, moving up, and he's got the first down and a gain of about 15. And pardon me, that was Kyler McCleary, the junior, 6 foot 262 pounds, and grabbing the first down there after a gain of about 13. Another first down for the Seagulls.
Luke Bennett was able to push him out of bounds eventually. That was a huge hole on the left side. A lot of room for the Seagulls to run on that play.
Jake White also making an appearance for Seaside along with Kyler McCleary and Tanner Crashour. Brady Jackson, their running back. Dominic Berg going to be their tight end. Tyler Wright, Ruger Thompson and Izzy Yantes as the wide receivers. We'll get you the line after this. As Crashour motions to the right, takes the handoff, is going to hand it off to Jackson, moves along the right side, up the field, and a gain of about 9. And Seaside doing some work on the ground there. That's 3 plays of 9 or more yards to start this game.
They're just making some nice room in the interior line. There's some big holes to run through. Logan Whitlock coming from his linebacker spot to make that tackle.
It'll be 2nd and 1 from the Henley 45-yard line as Seaside again moving from right to left across your radio dial. 2nd and about 1 to go. Crashour under center once more, handing it off to the fullback. And that's going to be a first down for Seaside's Jake White. That's the 3rd first down picked up this drive by Seaside, as it'll be 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line as Seaside drives downfield.
Tyler Harper with a couple of tackles on this drive, making himself known out there. That was actually a pretty good defensive play. They didn't have long to go for the first.
One wide receiver set out to the near side for Seaside. That'll be Jordan Lilly, first we've seen of him this game. Pitch out going to White as he takes it up the right side. He's cutting up the field. He's got a bit of room. He's inside the 20, now the 15, 10, 5, and he is pushed in. And that is going to be, was that just short? It looked like it might have been. Right down near the goal line. That looks like it might be down at the 1 or 2 yard line, but still broke off about a 40-yard gain down the right sideline for Jake White, the sophomore, 180 pounds. Big play there for the Seagulls.
Well, very well blocked play for Seaside. The key to that was Izzy Hantes sprinting down the field as a lineman and making it block way downfield to spring the runner. Fantastic.
So it'll be 1st and goal from the 1. That's going to be handed off to White once more. And he is in for a Seaside touchdown with 9:26 to go in the first quarter. And now, see if Seaside decides to go for two early or if they're content to kick the extra point. And it looks like they will be kicking the extra point here. To do the kicking for Seaside is going to be Daniel Rodriguez, the sophomore, trying to kick the extra point. No, pardon me. That's going to be Ivan Mota. The kick is up. Bit of a line drive, but it splits the uprights and is good. Seaside taking an early 7-0 lead over Henley with 9:25 to go in the first quarter. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on my.com.
Plus, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Welcome back to Henley Football on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com. Seaside took the ball downfield 79 yards in just 6 plays, and they scored a touchdown in about 2.5 minutes. They moved quick, and they converted 7-0 Seaside. 9:25 to go as the Hornets are getting ready to take possession. Back to receive for Henley. I believe Chris Janney's back there. And here is the kick from Seaside. More of a squib kick and near side. I think they're going to call offside for the kicking team, and that will be the case.
Seaside trying a little fancy kick there. It looked like almost like an onside, but it went downfield a ways, more like a squib.
Right, and then they jumped offside a little bit, so they're going to be kicking from their own 35 instead of the 40. So it's a 5-yard penalty, and we'll try it again.
Try it again. Here we go.
And the kick is going to roll out again to about the 40, fielded at the 42, and that is where they will place it. Yeah, Tyler Harper.
Yep, Tyler in there with the sure hands and fell to the ground. And Henley will take over right there.
So the Hornets take over at their own 40-yard line as Shaw Stork takes the field. The other offensive starters for the Hornets, you're going to see Chris Jane and Logan Whitlock out there. Luke Bennett, a wide receiver, along with Owen Sheen. Tyler Harper getting the nod at tight end, and we'll get you the line after this, as it's 1st and 10 from the 40 for Shaw Stork in the backfield. He's got Whitlock off to his right. Is a handoff to Whitlock. He bounces along the outside, cuts upfield, moves past the 50, now inside the 45, brought down at the 40 after a gain of about 20 yards. And talk about that explosiveness from Logan Whitlock.
Yeah, that's what we expected. If he can get outside and make that corner, he's definitely trouble.
A 20-yard gain on first down for the Hornets makes it 1st and 10 from the Seaside 40. 3 wide receivers to the near side, and unsure. It looks like an equipment issue with, I believe that's Bennett. And so they're going to check in Kyle Nichols in his place for this play. He's set up to the near side, along with 2 slot wide receivers, and Whitlock in the backfield with Stork. 1st and 10. Stork takes a snap, hands it off to Whitlock, finds some room up the middle. Brought down at about the 31-yard line, so gain of 8 or 9 yards on the play. The strength on this offensive line, a lot of returning talent at center. You got Braden Morris, Emiliano Ortiz, Juan Manso, Nate Tappan, There's some talent on this offensive line for the Hornets. 2nd and about 2 to go. The yard to gain is the Seaside 30. Whitlock off to the left. Stork drops back to pass, moves up in the pocket, takes it himself, moves upfield, bounces around to the outside. He's inside the 25 and brought down at about the 22-yard line, so it'll be good for a Hornets first down. And trying to move inside the red zone are the Hornets. You'll see Stork do that a lot, bouncing around, and I described him last year as bouncy. I think that still qualifies for Shaw.
Once again, Shaw showing the best thing he does is his decision-making is excellent. He knows when to keep it and when to throw it. That was a great play there.
1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. This time a handoff to Whitlock coming around the outside and was wrapped up after only a gain of about 1. So 2nd and 8 coming up for the Hornets.
Very nice play by Dominic Berg on defense there, tripping up the runner for a short gain.
You can maybe see it on the video stream. Logan Whitlock's shoes, the neon green. You think that adds any speed to his game, Kev?
I don't know. He has the matching gloves, too, so it makes it easy for us to see who he is anyway.
All right, 2nd and about 9 yards to go. Whitlock off to the left of Stork. Stork drops back to pass, feels the pressure, tries to unload it to Tyler Harper, but the pass is broken up by Seaside's Jake White, so it'll be 3rd and about 9. First time that either team has faced 3rd down tonight.
Henley not afraid to throw the football. That was well read by the defense. He jumped right in front of that pass. It'll bring up a 3rd and long.
Sheen set up to the near side along with Janney. And Whitlock off to the right of Shaw Stork. 7:43 left to go in the first quarter of a 7-0 ball game. Seaside in front. Here's the 3rd and long play. Stork takes the snap, is going to take it along the near side. It's a designed quarterback run, cuts upfield, gets wrapped up at about the 17-yard line, so still short of the first down. It'll bring up 4th and about 5.
The coaching staff may have decided that this is 2-down territory, so they got about half of it there, and we'll see if they can pick up the other half here on a crucial 4th down early in the game.
4th and 5, yeah, big play early in the game. Whitlock off to Stork's left. 2 wide receivers to the left side as well, 1 to the near side. It's Janney. Tried to get him on the hard count, and timeout is going to be called by the Hornets. We'll stick with you through this timeout, as it's a good a time as any to remind you that this game is brought to you in part by Les Schwab Tires. Having the right set of tires and wheels on your vehicle is just part of an essential safety checklist. That's why Les Schwab does more than install just tires and wheels. Come on in for a free pre-trip safety check. They're going to make sure that everything's in working order at Les Schwab Tires. They've got 3 locations in the basin, 1 on Washburn Way, 1 on South 6th Street, and 1 out in Merrill. Les Schwab Tires has been doing the right thing since 1952. Be curious to see what the Hornets design up here on a 4th and 5. It's not really a gimme either way, and Stork has shown ability to run the ball, make the right decisions so far in the game, but it's a crucial play early in the game.
Yeah, I actually like how Henley has responded. It's tough to drive all this way, tough road game, and give up an early touchdown, but they're looking good on this drive, and they're just going to have to convert here.
All right, teams are back out on the field. Same formation for the Hornets, except instead of Janney being close, it's Owen Sheen. All right, we are back ready to go, and 7:02 to go in the first. Seaside leads 7-0. Stork with a single back, Whitlock off to his left. Taken from the near hash. Stork drops back, rolls off to his left, is being chased, unloads a pass to his left. It's popped up into the air, and was that caught?
Yes, it was.
Oh, my goodness. It was popped up in the air. Who came down with that? That looked to me like it was...
was it Harper out there,
I
Tyler?
think that was Harper, yeah. You got Tyler Harper playing tight end, 6'1", 185 pounds. He took a hit trying to get that loose ball. It's popped up, and a first down for the Hornets. It'll be 1st and goal from the 9.
Wow. Sometimes a little luck helps, and good concentration by Tyler. The ball was popped in the air, but he still stuck with it and focused made the catch.
Whistle and a flag on the near side of the field. Looks like it's going to be offsides against Seaside. And that is, so Henley will move just a bit closer. They'll move up to the 4-yard line.
That was crazy play.
And that's where you get Tyler Harper. He's a big kid. He's stout, and he focused in to make that catch. And like you said, a little bit of luck, but you can use some luck on the road.
Well, yeah, and you still have to make the play.
Yeah.
So the ball was popped up by a defender, and he was there beyond the first down marker, and a huge play for the Hornets.
First and goal from the 5 is where they're putting it. Stork hands it off to Whitlock, and he's cutting around the outside, dives in for the Henley touchdown. Whitlock from 5 yards out converting, and now the Hornets an extra point away from tying the ball game with 6:37 to go in the first.
Logan finding the corner again. He's very dangerous, and he was able to reach over the goal line, get the Hornets' first touchdown of the season.
So now it looks like the Hornets are going to go for the extra point kick. Owen Sheen to do the honors. Was pretty consistent last year. I think only missed 1 extra point all year long last season. It was at that Hidden Valley game that was a nail-biter all game long.
Right.
Sheen, the kick is up, and it is no good, missing wide left. So the score, 7-6 with 6.5 to go as the Hornets answered back with a touchdown but couldn't convert on the extra point for Henley that drive. They went 60 yards in about 3 minutes. We'll call it 2:53. Took them 7 plays to get there, and they capped it off with that 5-yard rush by Logan Whitlock, picking up the first touchdown of the season for the Hornets as a productive drive doing it.
Yeah, what I've always liked about this group of coaches and this team is they mix it up. They threw the ball when they needed to. They ran the ball. You never really know what's coming, and I think that will help them as we progress through this season.
So the Hornets ready to kick off. It'll be Sheen to do the honors. Back to receive for Seaside is going to be Jake White and Brady Jackson, the pair of running backs that showed out in the first drive for Seaside. They scored on their first drive in 6 plays, and they went 79 yards. So Hornets defense looking to make a stand here. All right, the kick from Sheen is up. A line drive that's going to be caught at about the 5. That'll be Jackson along the far side taking that one. He's up past the 20, brought down before reaching the 25. And they're going to put him at the 23-yard line. That is where the Seagulls will get things started.
I think I saw Cooper Grow in there, making a nice stop along with a few of his friends.
And it looks like a little bit.
All right, we got a penalty on the kickoff.
We'll find out what it is. Was that a block in the back?
Looks like it. Calling it right now, yes.
All right.
Henley's done well on their special teams. They haven't given up any field position for the most part. Very nice.
One thing that Coach Stork talks about a lot is all 3 facets of the game. A lot of coaches talk in terms of offense and defense, but Coach Stork, he knows special teams is just as important as both of those.
Certainly.
All right, it'll be 1st and 10 from the 14 for Seaside. Handed off, taken up the middle, and stuffed after a gain of about 4 yards. And so 2nd down on the way for Seaside.
Bottom of the pile, that looks like Owen Northcutt, and we can expect big things from Owen. He had a fantastic season last year, very good on the edge and on that defensive line.
All-conference returner last year,
yes.
Especially a captain on the defensive end. And, you know, you and I were talking a little bit about whether or not Shaw Stork will be playing defense, and I do see him out there playing what looks to be a little bit of safety. So, all right, it is 2nd and 5 for Seaside. Motion in the backfield. Crashour takes it, hands it off, actually, to the back and the inside. That's Jackson. Cuts up field.
Direction play, but it did not fool Owen. And Northcutt gets himself another tight there, just short of the 1st down.
Big third down coming up for Seaside. It's the first time that they have faced third down so far this game. Henley, on the other hand, is 0 for 1 in third down conversions. Crash Hour sends a man in motion. It's Jackson. It's going to be White who takes it along the outside, leaps over a Hornet player and gets the first down.
Nolan Northcutt with the stop, but not until the Seagulls pick up the first down.
That is their 5th first down of the game. There's under 5 minutes to go now in the first, 4:57 to be exact, and the Seagulls lead the Hornets 7-6. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line, pardon me. Crash Hour again lining up under center. This one is going to be taken by White along the far side, Jackson along the far side. He gets stuffed for a gain of only 1. And the Hornets starting to see it a bit better when Jackson carries the football, but White, the athleticism, even when he gets caught in the backfield, he's able to get some yardage out of it.
Yeah, he's definitely a good runner. That was probably the first play where the Henley defensive line really stuffed the hole that time. Did a nice job. Cooper Grow in on the tackle there.
2nd and 9 for the Seaside Seagulls as they lead 7-6 with 4:03 to go in the first. And they send Jackson in motion. He's going to be a blocker on the outside that's going to be handed off to White again, who tries to find some room up the middle. Only finds about 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 6 coming up for Seaside.
Nolan Northcutt and Logan Whitlock, linebackers there making the tackle. And we're starting to see Henley kind of become familiar with the running game here. Seaside has yet to throw a pass.
Right.
And they've been successful. They haven't needed to. So we'll see on this 3rd and 5 whether or not they will put the ball in the air.
Crash Hour under center, and a whistle is blown. And it's going to be a timeout taken by Seaside. We'll stick with you through this timeout. It's a fine time to remind you that this game is brought to you in part by Abby's Legendary Pizza. Looking for Austin Street or 2226 Shalleck Street near OIT. Abby's Legendary Pizza, a proud supporter of high school.
It's 3rd down and 5, and this is the perfect time where you'll try to see the tricky count, try to draw Henley offside. So it would probably be just enough for a first down. So Hornets need to be disciplined here.
Tried to do it to Seaside, but they held stout on the other side. So something that's definitely being talked about in the huddle. This Hornets coaching staff again, heralded by Coach Alex Stork in his 6th season. All right, the Hornets heading back out onto the field. It's going to be 3rd and 5 with 3:18 to go in the first, and the Seagulls lead the Hornets 7-6. Seaside comes out with Jake White in the near side as a receiver, or at least lined up as one. And you've got Gavin Daggett in the backfield. Crash Hour drops back to pass. It is caught on the near side by White. It looks like just short of the first down. He picked up 4 yards, but that'll bring up 4th and 1.
We had a feeling they may throw the football. They did. And Chris Janney came up and made a good tackle to prevent a first down. And Seaside will have to make a decision here.
You're in your own territory. 4th and 1 at the 38, or well, more like the 37-yard line. 4th and 1 from the 37. A man in motion. It's going to be Jackson. Handed off to White up the middle, and it looks like he got the first down. 1.5 yards, maybe. But very, very close. Right on the 38. They are giving Seaside the first down.
Good defensive effort, just not quite enough. But still a nice defensive play.
And when you take into account what White has done for most of the game, a 1.5 yard gain is pretty stout for Henley, just not too much to go on that 4th.
Sure.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Seaside still in their own territory with 2:10 left to go in the first. Crashour, the quarterback, haven't said his name too much tonight. He's been handing it off to the two backs, and he's going to do it once more. Bouncing around the outside is going to be Jackson. He finds a little bit of room for a gain of 8 up the middle. He thought about going to the outside to the right, but ends up cutting right back down the throw to Henley, and it'll be second and about 3 yards to go.
Yeah, Jackson showed us right there how he can cut side to side. Made some nice moves in the middle of the field there to pick up about 8. Owen Sheen with the tackle.
Seaside coming out once more. No wide receivers set out too wide for him, although they do have Jackson set up along the near side. It's going to be a handoff to White coming up. He's got the first down and a gain of about 4. And pardon me, on the carry there was Kyler McCleary, the junior running back, 6'2", 160 pounds, with a gain of 4.
Really stringing that play outside to side on the sideline. They didn't pick up a whole lot of yards, but it was enough for the first down.
That'll be the 7th first down of the night for Knight, as they have really held on to the football so far for a lot of time in this first quarter, just crossing inside the 1-minute mark left to go in the first, and it's a 7-6 ball game. The Seagulls in front on their home turf. 50 as the Seagulls start to drive downfield towards the west goal as they go from right to left across your radio dial. This is going to be a handoff up the middle to White. He's got some room. He's up inside the 40, up past the 35, the 30. He's down the sideline past the 25 and knocked out before the 20. A big gain for Seaside on the play. Call it a gain of about 29 yards and a Seaside first down.
Luke Bennett saved a touchdown there. Another back with good speed for the Seagulls.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20. 39 seconds to go in the first. And a whistle and a flag. Could see a false start coming out. It looked like some of Seaside's players were still getting set up. And it's going to be a false start against the Seagulls. And so this one's coming back.
That's a nice little break for the Hornets.
Get some of that yardage back you lost on that big run. And you'll definitely take that here on the road.
Sure. You know, the first game of the year, you're always worried about mistakes. Where you make mistakes, you know, some of the kids haven't played varsity minutes yet. And Henley's done a pretty good job. Not made a lot of mistakes here at this first quarter.
All right, 36 seconds to go in the first. Seaside up 7-6. They've got the football at the Henley 25 on the near hash. Crashour takes it. It's going to hand it off to Jackson. He cuts up the right side, breaks one tackle, and spins around. Almost got through another one. Call it a gain of 9 and a late flag after the play in the backfield. And a player for Seaside with his helmet knocked off looked to be Tyler Wright. It's going to be personal foul against the Hornets, so this one's moving back up. And those are the things where you talk about mistakes, Kev. Never want to see the personal foul, especially in the first quarter.
Yeah, up to that point, they played a pretty clean game, and that's going to move the football much closer to the goal line here.
So far for Seaside, this will be the 10th play of the drive coming up, and they've held on to the football for the better part of 6 minutes. They got it with 6:30 left to go in the first, and now there's 22 seconds left. Again, the 10th play of the drive on the way for the Seagulls. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 9.
Penalty will be first down Seaside.
Clock is rolling. Maybe one more play this quarter. Crashour under center. He's going to hand this one off to White. Spins around and gets a gain of about 4 yards. Gets to the 5, so it'll be 2nd and goal from the 5. And unlikely to get another play off this quarter, as that will be it for the first quarter. Seaside leads 7-6. They'll have the football when we come back as we continue our coverage of Henley Hornets football on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com.
During COVID, I gained over 24 pounds. I lost motivation in working out. I lost motivation in eating healthy. And for me, if I'm not active, I just don't eat well. But then I started taking a class at Harbor's gym called High Low. The first week I felt like I didn't fit in and I couldn't do it, but the instructor was so kind and thanked me for coming and told me how well I did. I was like, No, I wasn't, but it made me come back the next week and the next week. And soon enough, I was going Saturdays. I learned how to lift weights accurately with repetition. I started lifting on my own. I started golfing too with my husband. And all of a sudden, I was buying salads instead of sandwiches. Small victories happened week by week, and it's 100% because of Harbor, their staff, their gym, the golf. My husband is getting out of the house and working out with me. His golf game is increasing, we're lifting together, and we feel good. Harbor, where I lost my reins and got my gains.
Ready for the second quarter of action on mybasin.com, also 104.3 and 960 Sports. The Henley Hornets on the road to open up the 2022 football campaign. They find themselves down 7-6 after 12 minutes. And Petrick and Kevin, you and I were talking during the break. This is only the third possession of the ball game,
right,
and this is the 11th play of the drive for Seaside. Haven't seen too much of either team yet, it feels like.
No, Seaside is doing, I think, what they want to do. They're taking their time in the huddle. They're coming up to the line, up the clock.
It'll be second and goal from the 6, it looks like, for Seaside. Now as they drive from left to right, they're driving towards the east goal. All right, second and goal, Crashauer under center. He's going to hand it off to McCleary, who gets only about a yard on the play. McCleary, the third running back for the Seaside Seagulls, the junior 6'2", only gaining a yard on the play. That brings up third and goal.
Owen Northcutt was all over that. Excellent tackle at the line.
Seaside so far tonight is 1 for 2 on third down conversions. We've got an opportunity to do it here. Third and goal from the 5. 12th play of the drive coming up. One man set out wide for Seaside. It's Jake White. And in motion, it's McCleary. It's going to be a pitch to White in the backfield. Cuts upfield, dives for the end zone, and he looks to be about 2 yards short. 4th and goal from the 2.
Another nice bit of defense. Justin Elbert in on that tackle. And we've got another big decision here with 4th and goal.
This seems to be a decision that is a little bit easier than the first one they had, though. You're so deep into Henley's territory. 4th and goal, you already have the lead. Seems like a no-brainer for Seaside to go for it here.
They've had success with the run.
That's what they're going to do. They're playing it by the numbers. Man set out wide as Jackson to the near side. You've got White and you've got McCleary in the backfield, and a timeout taken by the Hornets. That's the second one they've taken this half, and it gives us the perfect opportunity to remind you that this game is brought to you in part by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Picking the right path can make the journey easier, the distance shorter, and can assure that you end up at the right place. Whether you're dreaming of owning a home or you just want a great checking account, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union can help you reach your goals. Score 7-6. Henley trails with 10:35 to go in the second quarter. The Seaside Seagulls long road trip, 6 hours. You're dropping in the elevation about 4,000 or so feet. You think that plays a role? I mean, they did get here yesterday, a little bit of time to acclimate, but definitely a change in the climate. I mean, from the 90 degrees in the base to about 60 degrees here.
This is nice football weather. I mean, this is great. I'm sure the kids are in shape, so that shouldn't be a problem tonight with the conditioning. Henley can take a chance here. They have about a yard and a half to get in for the score, and we haven't seen them throw the football. So I think Coach Stork is probably going to guess run here, and we may see a pretty aggressive move by the line and some linebackers and some stunts. We'll see what they do here.
Hey, Crashauer has completed one pass tonight. It was kind of a short, flat pass, but we'll see what they do here. 4th and goal from the 3. Or from the 2, rather. Man in motion. Crashauer takes a snap, pitches it to White, coming along with
That was a good effort by the Hornets. Logan Whitlock just had his hand on him in the backfield and couldn't get him. And the Seagulls go in for their second touchdown.
Second touchdown of the game for Jake White as well. First one was from 1 yard out. This one from about 2 yards out. And now Seaside an opportunity to try to go up by even more with the extra point. Up by 7, trying to make it 8. Moda to kick with Sanchez holding. The snap, the hold, the kick is good. And so the Seaside Seagulls lead 14-6 with 10:29 to go in the second. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more Hornets football on 104.3 and 960 Sports HD video on mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
And welcome you back on 104.3 and 960 Sports. HD video on mybasin.com. Seaside up 14-6 over Henley with 10:29 to go in the second. That drive for Seaside going 86 yards in 13 plays and 8 minutes. Kev, that is a drive.
What's the best way to stop a high-powered offense? Don't give them the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Seaside's kept the ball the majority of this game, and their strategy's paying off. So we'll see how Henley does here. They can get another quick strike. Try to even the score.
Henley did convert with a touchdown in their first possession, just was unable to get the extra point, and that one is going to dribble out a couple of yards. Seaside looked like they tried to go for the onside kick, and they're going to have to take a penalty here, it looks like. Unless Henley was the one to touch it. But either way, it didn't go far enough, I don't think. So,
I think it's just is it just a dead ball?
Really? I thought the ball had to go 10 yards, doesn't it? Or is that just an NFL rule?
Well, it's just dead ball in Henley's possession there, possibly.
Okay. Well, the football only rolled 8 yards, so Henley is going to take it in Seaside territory at the 48. So already driving downfield, great starting field position for the Hornets. And they take it with 10:29 to go in the second quarter. Stork drops back to pass, unleashes one downfield. It is going to be incomplete down the sideline. Good to see Stork uncork one like that, though, and hit his target downfield, although the receiver stepped out of bounds. As a good throw by Stork.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen that, and like you said, just get that a couple yards in play there, and we have a big gainer for sure.
2nd and 10 for the Hornets from the Seaside 48. Man in motion. Stork takes the snap, is going to hand that one off to Whitlock, who comes around the near side, cuts upfield. He's got a gain of about 6 yards, maybe 7 on the play, so 3rd and 3 on the way for the Hornets. A good 7-yard gain from Whitlock there. Nice job of kind of bouncing around the outside and finding the holes. He's got eyes.
Yeah, that was a nice run. He really knows how to weave in and out of that defense, and he has good vision. He can see what's coming at him. Nice run.
Set up to the near side for Henley is Janney. 3 wide receivers set out to the far side for Stork. That would be off to his right. And a whistle on the field. It's going to be a timeout by Seaside. That's their second timeout of the half. Time to remind you that this game is brought to you by Coldwell Banker Home and Premier Realty. Little things can add up to big bills when you're buying, selling, or owning a home. And Coldwell Banker Home and Premier Realty's exclusive Beyond the Sale guarantees protect buyers, sellers, and homeowners from unexpected repair bills. To learn more, call Coldwell Banker Home and Premier Realty today. 3rd and about 3 coming up for the Hornets tonight so far. They are 0 for 1 on 3rd down conversions. But a big one here, they started with great field position. Pardon me, you don't want to lose this one out. So maybe 2 down territory for the Hornets as well.
I would think so. I think they'll take 2 cracks at it if they need to do that.
Third and 2. 9:45 to go in the second. And Seaside leads 14-6. Stork gets the snap. Play action pass over the middle, going to be caught by Janney, and he is brought down for a first down and a gain of about 12 on the play. Good throw and catch for the Hornets. Nets them first down number 4 tonight.
That's the first time we've seen that, and that looked very nice. Play action, couple of defenders bid on that handoff, and a super throw for the completion. Well done.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Seaside 29. Stork receives the snap from Morris, drops back to pass, looks to the near side, and that's going to be picked off on the weak throw. That's going to be taken in by Dominic Berg. Takes it back for another 5 yards and a turnover. And it'll be Seaside ball.
The play was just a little screen where Shaw just sprinted straight back and tried to loop it over to Logan Whitlock, and defender read the play and made the interception.
Stork threw it a little bit on the back pedal as well. I think he maybe trying to make a break for it, saw the screen pass open up, but just not to be for the Hornets on that play. And it'll be Seaside ball at their own 40-yard line with 9:16 to go in the first half. The Seagulls lead 14-6 in the opening night of the season. One receiver set out to the wide side for Seaside. Looks like it might be Ruger Thompson. It's a pitch to the outside to White. He cuts up the middle of the field and gets stopped, stood straight up after a gain of about 4. So second down coming up for Seaside.
Good aggressive play by Luke Bennett coming up to make that tackle after a gain of about 4. And the Hornets are going to need to make some in-game changes here to stop this run.
Last drive for Seaside ended after 8 excruciating minutes and 13 plays. So definitely going to try to want to limit the time of possession for Seaside. Like you said, it seems to be their game plan coming into tonight.
Right. And they're executing very well.
2nd and 6 for the Seagulls at their own 49. This is going to be a handoff up the middle, not going to amount to much. On the carry that time for Seaside was Jake White. Tried to go up the middle, maybe gained 1 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Nice defensive play. Owen Northcutt really showing his strength. I'm impressed by how strong he looks. When those backs hit him, he drives them the other direction. He's made some nice tackles tonight, and he made that one.
Seaside tonight is 2 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. Now an opportunity to do it 3rd and 5 with 7:52 to go in the first half. They lead 14-6 over the Hornets. Crashauer under center is going to hand it off to Jackson. Coming up the near side, he's got some room. He's up past midfield and brought down at the 45. That'll be a gain of 10 yards for Brady Jackson. And a Seaside first down, their 9th of the evening.
Luke Bennett once again making an important tackle. That play could have went for a lot longer.
And as you mentioned, Brady Jackson competed in the 100-meter at the state track and field meet last year. He's got some wheels, but so do those Henley defensive backs. They've been able to keep him in front of him for most of the night.
Right. Yeah, he's a very good runner on the other side of the ball for Seaside.
1st and 10 from the Henley 45. Crashauer under center, handing this one off to White. He takes it upfield for a gain of 3, and that'll bring up 2nd down for Seaside.
That was well read on the end there by Chris Janney. He turned that play inside and made the tackle himself.
Seaside has been pretty consistent with these 2 3-yard gains all night. And again, it's amounted to a lot of first downs, already 9 tonight as opposed to 4 for the Hornets.
Very confident in what they're doing, Seaside, and taking their time, not in a hurry.
2nd and 7 is the official measurement from the Henley 43. Crashauer under center. This one handing it off to McClearly. Down, it looks to be Logan Whitlock making contact with him there. Another gain of 3 yards. We'll bring up 3rd and...
Guy with his speed, you might not think he could really pack a wallop on defense, but he does. He's a good hitter.
Seaside tonight 3 for 4 on 3rd down conversion, 75%. They've been able to move the ball fairly well. Last time it was 3rd and 5. This time a little bit shorter, 3rd and 4 on the way for Seaside. Crashour under center once again, 2 backs in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to McClearly, trying to get upfield and is stuffed after a small gain, 1 or 2 yards maybe, but brings up a 4th down for Seaside.
That was Henley's probably their best 3rd down defensive play right there. Really put a stop to that, and it makes for a difficult 4th down here.
4th and 4, the official measurement from the Henley 39. Big play coming up. Looks like Seaside tried to go for the hard count. Crashour looking back towards the sideline. Coach Tanabe giving the sign. 5:01 to go in the half, and timeout is called by Seaside. That will be their final timeout of the first half.
Henley was well disciplined on that. They didn't fall for the count. I also want to go back to that onside kick earlier too, where a lot of times you see high school teams not know the rules or mess that up, and they were right to leave the ball. They did a nice job there too. So the Henley players showing their experience and their knowledge of the game, and it's definitely going to help them on this drive as it's still 4th and about 4.
Tonight's game brought to you by Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club. Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness have the most understanding trainers that you could ask for. They help you get motivated, and their workouts will make you feel accomplished all day. Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness wants you to lose those reins and get your gains. 4th down conversion opportunity coming up for Seaside. It's 4th and about 4. So far tonight, Seaside perfect on 4th down conversions, 1 for 1. Henley also 1 for 1 on 4th down conversions. They're in Henley territory, and the timeout was called as they lined up for an offensive play. We'll see if they come out with a punting unit or if it's the same idea. It looks to me like Seaside is ready to run some offense. They're going to go for it here on 4th. Receiver set out to the near side is Jordan Lilly for Seaside. 4th and 4 in Henley territory. It's going to be a pitch to the outside to Jackson. He's going to get the first down and then some. A gain of about 10 yards, and Jackson has been reliable all night for Seaside as he picks up another first down, 10th of the night for Seaside.
Whitlock and Nolan Northcutt with the stop there, and Henley's just getting kicked out to the outside and leaving that gap, and they're able to pick up those 3rd and 4th down conversions.
Seaside now 2 for 2 on 4th down conversion tonight. 14-16 the score with 4.5 to go in the second. Seaside leads, and they've got possession of the football at the Henley 30, 1st and 10. McClearly in motion, going from right to left. This is going to be a handoff to White, trucking up the middle, a gain of 5 on the play.
There's Nolan Northcutt again with a stop. Nolan's got a big old cast or something on his right arm there. I'm not sure what he did, but he's played very well defensively.
Part of the defensive front that returns for the Hornets as they line up on a 2nd and 5 play on their own 25-yard line. Seaside in possession of the football, and a flag is thrown. And looks like it might be false start. We'll see. False start, Seaside. This one's coming back. It'll still be 2nd down, but they're bringing it back 5 yards.
I'm not sure. Maybe the center may have done something on that play, moved the football.
So 2nd and 10. Now from the Henley 30. 3:37 to go in the first half. McClearly and White in the backfield. Crashaw under center. It's going to be a handoff to White. He cuts up the middle, has a little bit of room. He's inside the 15, inside the 10, into the 5, and in for a Seaside touchdown. From 30 yards out, Jake White takes it to the house and makes it 20-6. Seaside leads.
That looked to be a little trap. It started at one side of the line and went to the other, and Seaside blocks very well. They're a very good blocking team, as we've seen in this first half with their running game.
That's White's 3rd touchdown of the night, and now Seaside going for the extra point. Kicking it is Mota. Holding it is Sanchez. The snap, the kick. It is good. And the Seaside Seagulls with a 21-6 lead with 3.5 to go in the first half. That drive for Seaside took about 4.5 minutes, 8 plays, 40 yards, or 60 yards, pardon me. Another good drive put together by Seaside, Kev.
Yeah, Seaside couldn't have drawn it up any better. They are really controlling the football, and I believe Henley's only had 2 possessions. Is that right?
That's right. They scored a touchdown on their first possession and then an interception on the second possession. So an opportunity here. You still got time left to go in this half, 3.5 to go, and you can bring it within a score. And Henley also, I believe they get the ball back at the second half as well. So still in okay shape.
Sure.
As the Hornets do need to produce some offense on this drive. As looking to hold on to the football a little bit too. I can't quite calculate the time of possession numbers in my notes here, but Seaside has certainly held on to the football for quite a bit of time in this first half.
Oh yeah, definitely. Henley has the kind of offense that can score quickly, and so they'll put that into play here.
All right, here we go with 3.5 to go in the first half. The kick is going to be a line drive, bounces about the 30. It's going to be picked up at the 20, coming up now to the 30, cutting down to the near side, up to the 35, now to the 45, the 50, as that was Logan Whitlock on one heck of a return to get their third drive.
Abe Archibald made a nice tackle for the Seagulls right there. Logan had some wheels around the near sideline there, and a good run back that puts Henley in a nice position here with about 3 minutes to play and a half.
3:15 to go in the half, and Henley at the Seaside 45, about where they started their last drive that ended in an interception. And we'll see if they come away with better fortunes here as Shaw Stork in the backfield with Logan Whitlock. 2 wide receivers sit out to the near side. Tyler Harper in motion from left to right. Stork takes the snap, design quarterback run going along the far side. Stork up past the 45, getting to the 40 before being brought down. A nice gain of about 5 yards from Stork. And Kevin, you mentioned that Henley has that ability to strike quickly on offense. And while you'd like to take advantage of that, on the same token, I think you do want to give the defense a little bit of a breather on this sideline.
Sure, that's a good point. You want to mix up your plays, which Henley's always been good at. So, yes, you'll definitely see some of that.
2nd and 5. Clock running down to 2:45 as Seaside leads the Hornets 21-6 in week 1. Stork calling for the snap. It's going to be a option for Stork. He comes to the near side to the 40, trying to get to the 35. And at the 35, they're going to, I believe they're going to give him the first down. As a good run there by Stork, and they will. So another Hornets first down there. That's their 5th of the night.
Danny was downfield, making a path for Shaw as well. Nicely done.
Same formation coming out to the Hornets. Janney on the near side, Sheen on the far side, and Seaside jumped on the hard count, and that'll move the ball forward and stop the clock. Minute 58 to go in the first half. Seaside up 21-6. Oh, pardon me, does not stop the clock, so it's going to keep rolling. But Henley trying to get on the ball a little bit quick. Harper, Janney out there as well. Bryson Montag, the sophomore, the near receiver for the Hornets. 1st and 5. Stork dropping back to pass, feels a bit of pressure, moves up into the pocket, unleashes a pass downfield, caught by Montag. What a catch at the 10. Big first down for the Hornets, but he didn't get down out of bounds. The clock will continue to roll.
Whitlock with the grab, and Shaw laid that up just right. He did a nice job with that throw. Best throw of the game, and with a minute and a half to left in the half, the clock probably not an issue here. They have 1 timeout left.
Right.
And they should be in good position here to finish.
Counting, Seaside up 21-6. Whitlock in the backfield with Stork. It's going to be a handoff to Whitlock. Finds a little bit of room up the middle and dragged down.
Oh, he's in there.
Was he in there? Oh, wow, a Henley touchdown after a gain of about 7. And that will trim the Seaside lead. Now they only lead 21-12. And now decision time for the Hornets. They try to go for the extra point here.
They're going to go for 2.
That's snapped along the near side and into the end zone as the Hornets convert on the 2-point conversion. They're now down by just a touchdown, 21-14, with 1:12 to go in the first half. It's a 5-play drive capped off with a 7-yard Whitlock TD. That's his second of the night, and a good quick drive for the Hornets to on only their third possession of the game. They've scored on 2 out of 3, which is a good ratio.
Wow, that's what we're used to seeing right there from Henley. That was a terrific drive. Logan's touchdown, he put a move on some. He went left and right and left, made a great play, and then Owen Sheen caught that quick little pass on 2-point conversion, and it puts Henley within 7.
Much better position than they were before that drive. Now for Seaside, still a minute 12 to work with. Although we haven't seen them try anything sort of quick on their offense. They've had long drives, but we'll see if they've got maybe something in their back pocket with a minute 12 left after this kickoff.
This is fun to watch. We have a good game here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the kick from Sheen is up. That's going to kick around out of bounds. And so Seaside now taking the field. Go ahead, Kev.
I was just going to say, with about a minute 12 left in the half, I believe Seaside's out of timeouts. So they may have to be a little tricky with the clock situation here, but they will have time to move the ball down the field. Henley has 1 timeout. They could stop the clock once if they choose to.
Seaside up 21-14. Just 72 seconds left in the first half. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 35. Still in Seaside territory. Mark that the near hash. Hornets defense maybe rejuvenated after a score on the offensive end. This is going to be a handoff to McClearly, cutting up the middle, and a gain of 4 yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down for Seaside.
Logan Whitlock, the last one up from the pile there. Looks like he made the stop. And Seaside now back on the ball quickly.
2nd and 4. Or, pardon me, 2nd and 6. 45 seconds and counting in the first half. Seaside up 21-14. The snap with 36 seconds. And a fumble in the backfield, and the Hornets say they came away with it. And it's going to be Henley football with 31.9 to go in the first half. Pretty good field position, and the Hornets have a timeout. Big turnover there.
Henley making a nice move there to capitalize on a fumble. Looked like it was just a mistake with the handoff. There wasn't a hit or anything. The ball popped loose, and the Hornets jumped all over it. And they've got 31 seconds and 1 timeout.
Hornets take over at the Seaside 39 with 31 seconds to go. Stork takes the snap. He was in the pocket by himself. Now moving up. He's coming to the sideline. He's up to the 40. He's got a bit of room. Up to the 35 seconds to go in the first half. And a great run keeper by Stork. He was by himself in the backfield, moved up in the pocket, took it, and ran.
And he made a nice effort to get out of bounds.
I don't think he got bounds. No, he did.
They stopped the clock to move the chains, so they got a little break there.
Stork moving up in the pocket. He's got a little bit of room, looking to the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown, the Hornets. But there are flags down on the field, and it's in the backfield. Curious to see if Stork maybe an illegal forward pass. He was moving up in the pocket. And so that touchdown is not to be. Still 7 seconds left to go, so another play is ready.
It was a nice play, and just despite the penalty, really nice move by the receiver to get open. Shaw made a nice throw, but it will not count, and Henley will have about 7 seconds to try to make something happen here.
So lined up on the near side is Sheen. He was the intended target. Harper out there with him along with Janney. And 7 seconds to go in the first half. The Hornets trying to make a little bit of magic here at the end of the half. Stork getting the call. Along the far sideline for the Hornets is going to be Bennett. Final play of the first half. Stork takes it, rolls to his right, feeling a little bit of pressure. He's going to have to move back around to his left. He's got a block. He's got a little bit of room. Moving around, unleashes one towards the end zone, and it is incomplete. Into the end zone, intended target Owen Sheen, but that will bring us to the end of the first half. Seaside leads 21-14. We'll be back. We'll break down this first half action and look ahead to the second half. Coming up next as we continue our coverage of Henley football on 103 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com. 21-14, Seaside leads.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
The road can be a crazy place. Uh-oh! That's why Les Schwab Tires fixes brakes, steering, and more. And those guys don't. Keep driving. I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first, so I can backseat drive with confidence.
Hit the road safely with Les Schwab and save up to $200 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Welcome back to Henley football on 104.3 and 960 Sports at halftime here at Week 1. Henley on the road against Seaside, and the Seagulls up 21-14. Got things started in that first half with a Jake White touchdown from 1 yard out. Seaside capped off a 6-play drive on that one. Henley answered back with a 7-play touchdown drive of their own. Were unable to convert on the extra point, which made the score 7-6. Seaside then broke off a 13-play, 8-minute drive that finished in a touchdown, made the score 14-6. And then Henley with the interception. Seaside converted once more on a big 30-yard rush from Jake White, made the score 21-6. Henley converted with a 7-yard Whitlock touchdown, 21-14. Henley had one final shot at the end of the half after a Seaside fumble. But, Kevin, it's been an exciting game so far.
It's been a wild game and a lot of fun to watch. Just what you'd expect from two good teams in the first game of the season. We saw a few mistakes, but not too bad. But we saw Henley can score in a hurry, and Seaside will take all day if they want. So it's really a battle of styles, and the first team that can break the other team's momentum or style has the best chance to win. And, of course, the turnovers always play a key factor as well.
Right, and those turnovers, one for each team. It was a fumble for Seaside, an interception for Henley. I think that those numbers, if they can stay right about even out the possessions. I mean, Henley has got to create some turnovers, though.
Right.
If they want to come back in this game, they will start the second half with the football. But, man, when a team, Seaside, those 13-play drives, those 7, 8-play drives, I feel like I'm watching Mazama sometimes, it feels like.
Right,
so Henley knows
right.
what they're expecting. They hopefully can create a little bit of havoc on defense and keep rolling on that offense because it has looked good.
Yeah, I'm sure the coaches defensively are talking right now. They've got to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down. They gave up a lot of 3rd and 4th down conversions. It'll be exciting to see what they come up with in the second half.
You talked about those 3rd down conversions. Seaside tonight is 3 for 5 on 3rd down conversions, and they are 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions. Certainly a topic of discussion in the Henley Light. We'll get you a score update there. Take a look about what else is happening in the Klamath Basin back home as we continue our coverage of Henley football on the road tonight in Week 1 here at Seaside at Broadway Field. The Seagulls up 21-14. We've got more Henley football next on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Welcome back to 104.3 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com. Henley football on your airwaves tonight. My name is Josh Eldridge. Along with me is Kevin Petrick. Seaside up 21-14 at the half. But, Kevin, we talked about it a little bit. Henley's new conference this year. They've got some teams in action. You told me that Mazama playing a big matchup tonight. That's number 4 versus 3 in the state. They're taking on Estacada, and Mazama is up 19-9 at halftime. That's impressive.
That'd be a nice win for them. It would move them up the polls and help later on when all those numbers and formulas are added into the playoffs. We should see both Estacada and Mazama in that playoff bunch at the end, yeah.
I would imagine so. This league is it's something to look at. I mean, along with Mazama, Ashland, who's playing Eagle Point tonight, Marshfield playing Tillamook, North Bend playing Crater, and Ashland and North Bend, traditionally 5A schools playing down at the 4A classification for football. The OSAA kind of allows that, and they've, done this redistricting to create this Big Sky Conference. There's a lot of good competition in this league. You have Seaside here tonight. You play Crater later on in the year. You play Mazama Cascade at one point.
Yes, a highly ranked team, yes.
Yes, Henley has got 4 top 10 teams on their schedule this year. Man, it's going to be a slog of a year.
Yeah, the Big Sky's loaded, and they're playing tough opponents as well. So it's going to make for a really interesting season to follow for sure.
Certainly, aside from those Big Sky teams, some other Basin teams in action. Lost River, who is a state semifinalist appearance at the 1A last year. They are on the road against Adrian. Bonanza playing Tule Lake tonight. The Antlers looking to get off to a solid start. We've got a lot of good football in the Basin this year. A lot of talent across all classifications.
That Lost River game, I believe Adrian's the number 1 team in the state, and Lost River's at 4.
I believe it's a rematch from last year's semifinals.
So there's another good ball game in the region. So yes, a lot of good football today.
Some football coming up tomorrow at the college ranks. Oregon taking on Georgia tomorrow. Oregon State against Boise State. By the way, that Beavers game you can hear on this station you're listening to right now, 104.3 and 960 Sports. You'll be able to join Mike Parker on the call as the Beavers get ready to take on the Broncos. Did you see, by the way, that they voted to expand the college football playoff to 12 teams in the next couple of years?
I did see that today. I think it's a good move.
I would agree. I'm really excited for college football this year.
It's nice when your team's not eliminated after 3 weeks.
Right, or 1 week,
So it does make it a lot nicer, I think. It's a good decision.
Certainly. We're here at Broadway Field in Seaside. The score 21-14 as Henley is trailing the Seaside Seagulls. We're going to take another break here at the halftime show. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what we expect to see from both of these squads as we get ready for the second half of action from Seaside, Oregon. 6 hours away from the Basin, and the Hornets are down by 7. We'll be right back as we continue our coverage of Hornets football on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
The road can be a crazy place. Uh-oh! That's why Les Schwab Tires fixes brakes, steering, and more. And those guys don't. Keep driving. I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first, so I can backseat drive with confidence.
Hit the road safely with Les Schwab and save up to $200 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager of Clown Falls Honda and Clown Falls Subaru. I've lived here my whole life. Most of our employees have lived here their whole life too. Our sales, service, parts, and body shop teams are all staffed with experienced local folks. You know them and they know you. Our dealerships are comfortable and not corporate. Comfortable means we're focused on you. I'm Rob, and I'm glad to know you.
We welcome you back to the halftime show, 104.3 960 Sports, HD Video, mybasin.com. The Henley Hornets trailing the Seaside Seagulls on the road tonight, 21-14. Kev, it's been a pretty explosive game so far. Seaside has held the ball for quite some time, but, we've got Jake White on their team who has scored all 3 touchdowns tonight, once from 1 yard out, once from 2 yards, and then he broke off that 30-yard run as well. This Seaside team has really done some work on the ground tonight behind Jake White, and be remiss to not mention Brady Jackson, their other running back.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see how well their running attack is. They look sharp. They block very well, and their ball carriers are quick. They have a good offense. So Henley definitely has a challenge before them tonight. I also kind of forgot, it's been a while, I forgot how quick Henley's offense can score and how wild and aggressive they are. They almost had 2 touchdowns within a minute there at the end of the first half. So look forward to this second half. The momentum's going to go back and forth. the team with the fewest mistakes and the fewest turnovers probably end up winning this thing.
You talk about the ability of quick strike for Henley. They've got wheels in the backfield with Logan Whitlock, but Shaw Stork has also shown his ability not only to run tonight, but something we talked about in the pregame show was his ability to hit a couple called back. He had a touchdown pass that was taken back because he was over the line of scrimmage. He had a nice long pass that was called back because it was out of bounds, but he's shown the ability to move up in the pocket and not only tuck and keep the ball, but also the ability to unfurl one downfield, which is big for him.
Right, yeah, he's all about decision making. He's just great at it, one of the best in the state at making good decisions. And, you know, he had that one throw that I'm sure he wants back. And to me, it just seemed that won't happen again. To me, he looked sharp after that. That's not going to happen. We're going to make the good play. And he made some nice throws. Some didn't count, some did. But I expect him to play very well in the second half.
Really excited to see how it comes out. Henley trailing 21-14 to Seaside as we are getting close to the end of halftime. One more break, and then we'll be back with third quarter action as we continue your coverage of Henley football on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD Video, mybasin.com. Keep it right here.
I lost motivation in working out. I lost motivation in eating healthy. And for me, if I'm not active, I just don't eat well. But then I started taking a class at Harbor's gym called High Low. The first week I felt like I didn't fit in and I couldn't do it. But the instructor was so kind and thanked me for coming and told me how well I did. I was like, no, I wasn't, but it made me come back the next week and the next week. And soon enough, I was keeping up with the class. I started introducing more classes and then going Saturdays. I learned how to lift weights accurately with repetition. I started lifting on my own. I started golfing too with my husband. And all of a sudden, I was buying salads instead of sandwiches. Small victories happened week by week, and it's 100% because of Harbor, their staff, their gym, the golf. My husband is getting out of the house and working out with me. His golf game is increasing, we're lifting together, and we feel good. Harbor, where I lost my reins and got my gains.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager of Clown Falls Honda and Clown Falls Subaru. I've lived here my whole life. Most of our employees have lived here their whole life too. Our sales, service, parts, and body shop teams are all staffed with experienced local folks. You know them and they know you. Our dealerships are comfortable and not corporate. Comfortable means we're focused on you. I'm Rob and I'm glad to know you.
Happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Welcome back, 104.3, 960 Sports, HD Video on mybasin.com. Just about ready for the second half of action tonight from Seaside, Oregon. Good evening, everybody. My name's Josh Eldridge. Along with me is Kevin Petrick. Henley going to start the second half with possession of the football. They're down by a score. It's shaping up to be an exciting second half, Kevin.
Yes, let's hope it picks up right where they left off. Henley will get the ball first here in the second half, and we'll see if they can continue to move the football.
Back to receive for the Hornets is going to be Chris Janney and Logan Whitlock. Saw a lot of Whitlock on the offensive end in that first half. And for Seaside on special teams, they've tried sort of a squib onside kick a couple of times, so curious to see how they come out in the second half, if they try to get possession of the football back or if they're willing to concede it to the Hornets.
Yeah, I like a creative kicking game. I think in the end, I think it pays off, and so we'll see what they decide to do right here.
All right, as we face north tonight, our vantage point from Broadway Field, the Hornets are going to be going from right to left across your radio dial, attacking the west goal, as Seaside will kick off into the night as they set the ball up on the tee from the 40-yard line. It's going to be Ivan Moda to kick for the Seagulls. And the kick is sort of a ground ball, fielded at the 35, picked up by Harper, who tries to cut along the far side, brings it up past the 40, not quite to the 45. Call it the 43-yard line, and that is where the Hornets will start this possession.
That was Owen Sheen who picked that up, and I like, if you have time, go ahead and pick it up and make the run. Sometimes a player will want to fall on that ball in the middle of the field, but he gained another 10, 15 yards of field position.
Pardon me. Yes, Luke Bennett set up to the near side for Henley. And one more wide receiver in the slot, one more to the far side for the Hornets as Stork drops back to pass, looks to his right, looks downfield, and overthrew his man. Intended target was Owen Sheen, but an incomplete pass will bring up 2nd and 10.
Henley stretching the defense. Coach Pashy drawing up a deep ball right out of the gate.
Henley relied a lot on the run in the first half. Just could be to try to give Seaside a bit of a different look to open up the half.
Right, you want to stretch that defense out and give some gaps for your backs to run.
2nd and 10, the team Seaside. Stork takes the snap. This is a handoff to Whitlock coming around the near side. He cuts upfield. He gets to the 45, now to the 50. He gets to the 45 and finally brought down after a solid gain of 12 yards. And Logan Whitlock, another big gain, earns Henley their first down of the first half and their 8th on the night.
I'm a big fan of wide receivers who block, and Henley has some good ones. Janney and Sheen both with key blocks on that run for Whitlock.
So it'll be 1st and 10 now from the Seaside 45 as Henley driving downfield, looking to potentially even this game up. Here's the snap to Stork. He tries to get the hard count. And Coach Pashy gives the second call. This is going to be a handoff to Harper. He is wrapped up and brought down after a gain of 2.
Logan Whitlock getting a little rest there. I don't know if anyone else has carried the ball besides Whitlock and Stork before that carry.
I don't think so, but a quiet game, about a yard, 2nd and 9 on the way for the Hornets. Three receivers to the near side. One to the far side is Bennett. Stork takes the snap. He's rolling to the near side, cuts upfield, and is dragged down. The ball is loose, and it's going to be picked up by the Hornets, but it will be a loss of 3 on the fumble. Owen Sheen was the one to fall on it as Stork allowed that one to pop loose. It'll be 3rd and long.
Yeah, an important play by Owen Sheen, falling on the fumble. Henley does at least keep possession. And Seaside had that one figured out. Henley showed 4 receivers on that play, and they were spread out, and Seaside was able to read that and come up and make that hit on Shaw.
Stork with 2 receivers to either side and Whitlock to his right. Stork drops back to pass, rolling off to his right, unleashes one downfield. That will fall incomplete. Brings up 4th and long. And it looks probably to be punting territory for the Hornets when you're down by a score.
Henley came out firing. They're throwing the football all around the field there. Didn't have success on this particular drive, but I always like how they mixed it up.
To punt as well. Back to receive for Seaside is Kyler McClearly. High snap. Stork takes it. Kicks it about the 45. That one is going to bounce around at the 10, the 5, and into the end zone for a touchback. So Seaside will take over at the 20.
We got a late flag.
And we'll see a bundle of players as the flag is down at the 30. And we'll see what the call ends up being. All right, here's the call from the Whitecap this evening. Personal foul, Seagulls.
I think it was after the kick.
So Seaside will get possession of the football.
It was a late penalty.
Well, they bring it back to the 10. So a lot of field in front of Seaside, but they've operated nicely in those positions. They've scored touchdowns twice tonight on drives of 80 or more yards. Pardon me. Once a 79-yard drive, but pretty dang close.
Yes. Yep, they're able to chew up a lot of time and a lot of field. Make some adjustments here.
Keep an eye on White and Jackson for Seaside. 1st and 10 from the 10. Deep in their own territory are the Seagulls. And still, I think, trying to figure out the exact ball placement and the positions of the officials. 9:35 to go in the third quarter. And Seaside leads 21-14. Crash Hour is going to hand that one off, and clearly wrapped up in the backfield. And I think he wasn't dragged quite into the end zone, but it was a loss of 8 on the play. It looked like kind of a misdirection from Seaside, something, but that was a big loss and a good defensive play by the Hornets.
The Hornets had excellent penetration, probably the best we've seen of the game. They were all in the backfield, and it was almost a safety. That ball is going to be just inside the 1.
So 2nd and 18 on the way for Seaside. It is marked at the 2-yard line, deep in their own territory. Hornets looking for something special here. Crash Hour is going to hand that one off to White up the middle, a gain of 3 or 4 yards.
Right up the middle.
3rd and very long. Call it 3rd and 3 for 5 on 3rd down conversions, although, Kev, you're right, this is the longest. 4 or 5 yards, but it'll bring up 4th and 11. Tyler Harper is back there to receive, along with, can you see what that number is, Kev? It's kind of lateral to me.
We got Harper, and
the kick is up. Fielded at the 40.
That's Bennett.
Bennett takes it. Cuts up to the 6-yard line, 37-yard line, and that is where Henley will start this drive. So the defense gets the all-important 3 and out, and the Hornets, with great field position, are going to take it at the Seaside 37 with 7 minutes to go as they trail 21-14.
That was the first time I think we saw Seaside's offense uncomfortable. They were in the 3rd and long, and they didn't really have the play to get the first down. And it puts Henley in a good position here to tie the football game.
See if they're able to do it. Henley was done in 5 plays on their previous drive, ended up having to punt. 2nd and 7, so officially only a pickup of 3 for the Hornets. 3 wide receivers to the near side, and Whitlock to Shaw's left. And they got Seaside on the hard count for the 2nd time tonight. They're going to move that one up 5 yards, so that'll be 2nd and 2 on the way for the Hornets. 2nd time they got that one done tonight.
Yeah. If you believe in momentum, some people don't, some people do. Henley's starting to gain a little here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2nd and 2. A handoff to Whitlock. He's got room up the middle, up to the 25, now to the 20, down at the 10. They're going to mark it at the 12, it looks like. A big gain for Logan Whitlock and the Hornets, and a 1st down.
And
a flag down in the backfield. Looked to be a false start. Was that what it was?
Well,
Okay. Illegal shift is the call. So that'll bring it back.
Yeah, that's a tough break. I didn't see the flag initially, but That will bring up 2nd and long.
Back to about 2nd and 7 where they would have been without the false start penalty. So I guess when you look at it like that, not too big of a loss. It'll be 2nd and 7, same formation for the Hornets. Stork with Whitlock to his left and 3 receivers off to the left as well. Getting the call from Coach Pash. Stork drops back, having to move up into the pocket, feeling the pressure, and is wrapped up and taken down. And some shoving late after the play. And that one is almost certainly, well, it's tough to say if words were exchanged, but Seaside players shoving the Hornets and continuing to taunt on the field. We'll see how this one goes as the officials get in between everyone. Everyone is separated at about the 37-yard line. It's going to be a personal foul against the Hornets and no offsetting penalty as the Seaside players were the ones to lay hands on the Hornets, but I guess that's not why I'm down on the field.
Yeah, these are the kind of penalties that hurt you. And, you know, we did see actions from both sides, but you just can't engage in that. You just can't do it.
1-14 with 5:49 to go and
so
all right, 3rd and forever. They're calling it 24 yards. 3rd down conversions this half, 0 for 2 on the evening.
They're trying to figure out the chains on the far side. It'll take just a second to get that reorganized. You maybe try to get, if you can get about half of this here, it might be one strategy. Try to get half, then the other half maybe. It's a long way to get the whole thing.
It's taken from the Henley side of midfield at the 48. Stork drops back to pass, tosses it near side to Bennett, completes the pass and moves upfield for a small gain. And it'll still be 4th and about 14. But a good gain there by Bennett.
Yeah, nice little passing catch, but it was well short, so we may see that. You may see that short punt, or we may be. It's nice when your quarterback is your punter because you don't exactly know what's coming.
Right. Stork to punt, and Jackson, it looks like, to receive it. The punt from Stork is up. That's going to bounce around by the 10 to the 5 and down at the 3 or quarter. Seaside up 21-14, and they've been back here once before, Kev, and like you said, they seemed a little bit uncomfortable deep in their own territory. They've got 98 yards to go for pay dirt, so we'll see what they come up with here.
That's always the goal of your defense, is to make them do things they don't want to do. Those 3rd and longs, maybe throw the football when they don't want to. That's what you want to try to do here.
1st and 10 from the Seaside 2-yard line. A run up the middle is going to be stuffed after a gain of 4 or 5. 2nd down on the way for Seaside.
Nothing tricky there, but a good line push by the Seagulls, and they picked up 4 or 5.
So official measurement 2nd and 5 as we cross the 4:30 mark to go in the 3rd quarter. Neither team has scored yet. 21-14, and Seaside leads. All right. One receiver out to the left side for Crashour. It's a handoff up the middle. A gain of 4. 3rd and 1 on the way for Seaside. And it looks like it was McClearly on the carry.
This is the big down here, probably the biggest down of this half. 3rd and about a long yard. And if the defense can stop them here, we may get a punt, get the ball back.
3rd and 2, the measurement. Tonight, Seaside is 3 for 6, 0 for 1 in this half on 3rd down conversions. All right, here we go, 3rd and 1. 3:25 to go in the 3rd. This one is another handoff up the middle and stood up. Did he get the short gain? It looks like he did, and that is the call. 1st down, Seaside. 3:16 to go in the third.
Yeah, Matthew McCoy was all over that. He did a great job. Just gave up a little bit and enough for the first down. A good defensive play, though, by the Hornets.
3 yards, but it's good enough for a first down.
Right.
1st and 10 from the 12. Still Seaside deep in their own territory. Crashauer is going to hand it off to White, who is wrapped up and brought down for a loss of 1 on the play. Good job by the Hornets front 7 to get in there.
We're starting to see the Hornets in the offensive backfield now more in this half, and that's definitely what they need to do to stop these drives. Cooper Grow in there on that tackle.
2nd and about 12 to go. Maybe a long 11. As we cross the 2:30 mark in the third quarter, with Seaside still ahead 21-14. Seaside on the ball now. One receiver set out to the left. It's going to be a play action pass to hit his man in the hands, but just dropped in the open field. Unable to Berg, the tight end, hit his hands and then hit the turf.
The Hornets were extremely fortunate. He was open from the line. He just dropped the football, but that was a well drawn up play.
3rd and long on the way for the Seagulls. 1 for 2 on third down conversions this half. 2:03 to go in the third, 21-14 Seagulls lead. A late punt is going to bounce out of bounds at the 42-yard line on the Seaside half of midfield. And so that is where Henley will take over.
Looked like the punter for Seaside, he saw a huge rush coming in. I think he was afraid it was going to get blocked, so he kind of ran to the side.
Gotcha. And
then kicked on the run. So he made a pretty smart play to do that. The kick wasn't as far as he would have liked it to have been, but he avoided a sack and a big loss.
1:17 to go in the third. That's what the Hornets are up against as they take possession at the Seaside 42. This is going to be a rush to the near side by Henley's Chris Janney, but a loss of 1 brings up 2nd down.
Henley trying to get a couple other backs into the rotation here. That was Janney carrying the football.
So 2nd and 11, 50 seconds to go in the third. Henley at the Seaside 43-yard line. Stork awaiting the snap. Gets it. A play action pass over the middle is caught and a flag is down. The throw is completed for 12 yards up the field, but this one could be coming back as the flag is just in front of the line of scrimmage. And this one could be coming back. Is that an illegal player downfield?
Yeah.
Looks like one of the linemen might have advanced on a block.
He was talking to Tyler Harper. The official was talking to Tyler Harper, but I don't know if he was set up on the end or not. And
so that is the call, illegal man downfield, so we'll redo 2nd down.
That play action worked great again.
Right.
That play is working for Henley. So
it's the play action, the slant over the middle. It's the 2nd time they've hit it, but obviously that one coming back. 2nd and about 15. Stork calls for the snap, drops back to pass, fakes going right, rolls around to his left, has a little bit of room moving upfield. He's going to take it, cuts back across the field, and now he's up to the 45, trying to find room, cuts to the 40. He moves along. There's a flag down as Stork gets up for a gain of about 7 or 8 yards, but there is a flag down in the backfield.
We'll see what the flag is.
Looks to be a holding call against the Hornets, so this one coming back. That's back-to-back tough penalties for the Hornets.
Yeah, a few more mistakes than you want to see here in this third quarter for Henley. And we're just about...
Third, 21-14, Seaside leads. Henley has started this possession with great field position, but now finds themselves quite a ways away, about 25 yards.
It is still second down, so they have a few tries here.
Certainly. And Stork has been creative on each of these plays that ended up coming back. We'll see what he comes with here. Takes the snap. This one is going to be a draw. Whitlock bouncing around the outside. He gets wrapped up and brought down. No gain on the play. Brings up third down. That's a good defensive play by Seaside.
Yeah, that was Izzy Hontes over there, and he made a nice stop. Logan's usually quicker than everybody else, but he caught up with him on that one.
Brings us to the end of the third quarter. We're right where we started 12 minutes ago. 21-14, Seaside leads the Hornets. We'll be back with fourth quarter action next on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Back with fourth quarter football on 104.3 and 960 Sports. The Hornets trail Seaside 21-14. Third and long coming up. It's a screen pass to Whitlock. He's able to cut upfield. He gets some room to run, spins around, stays in bounds, and is finally dragged down. A big gain on the play, close to 10 yards, but you had to get 25, and frankly just a bit short. It'll bring up fourth down for the Hornets.
Yeah, Seaside played that one just right. They knew they had a long field to play with. And so Henley may have to give the football up here.
After one half, the score was 21-14. Now as we enter the fourth quarter, still 21-14. Each team punted the ball twice in the third quarter, and now the Hornets are about ready to punt for the third time this half after not having done it once in the first. Stork takes the snap. The punt is high, and it's going to bounce around at the 15. Takes a hard bounce, but it is stopped. Did he get it? That's the question. Nope, that'll get into the end zone. A touchback. Could have been close, but Seaside will start at the 20.
That's Owen Sheen again. He's found something there. That's a pretty good skill. He gets down the field and downs that ball on those punts. He almost had it inside the one again, but it did drift into the end zone.
Now, on those plays, does he have to touch it or does he have to have possession?
I think he has to have possession and down it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, 11:02 to go in the fourth and final quarter from Seaside, Oregon. Tonight, a slight mist gracing us here at Broadway Field as we face north and into the baseball field, which is kind of looking neat in the background tonight, I think, on the video stream on mybasin.com. If you haven't watched all night, you've been listening on radio. Find us for the fourth and final quarter, mybasin.com. It's shaping up to be a good finish. First and 10 from the 20 for Seaside as they drive from right to left. This is going to be a pitch to White on the near side. He is brought down after a gain of 4 or 5. That'll bring up second down.
Looks like Luke Bennett was in there on the tackle. He's made a lot of tackles tonight. It looks to me like both teams kind of figured each other out. They talked about it at halftime. They figured each other out a little bit. That's why we haven't seen any scoring. The only change is Henley's had a few penalties in that third quarter where they couldn't move the ball as well as they wanted to. Other than that, we're seeing the teams, they're playing pretty evenly here. So it'll take a big play to get the win.
2nd and 6, the official measurement. The snap comes in from the 30. And a loss of 1 on the play brings it to 3rd and about 7.
Nolan Northcutt made his way back there. Made a nice tackle.
Under 10 to go. 9:50 to be exact in the 4th and final quarter. Taking on Crater on the road, but still focused here against Seaside. All right, one receiver set to the near side for Seaside is Ruger Thompson. This is going to be a play-action pass. The throw over the middle is going to be intercepted at the 35. To pass, looks to his right, looks to the end zone. It is broken up in the end zone. So we've got 4th down coming up for the Hornets.
Bennett was open for a split second, and Sean made a pretty nice throw, but a really good defensive play by Brady Jackson. He got a hand up there just at the last minute to deflect that football. And the Hornets come up empty on that long 3rd down play. Fourth down.
4th down and deep into Seaside territory. This team is gearing up for a big 4th down conversion tonight. Henley is 1 for 1 on 4th down conversions tonight. The biggest play of the game thus far with 6:51 to go in the final period. 21-14, Seaside lead. Stork drops back to pass, feels some pressure, moves up into the pocket, coming along to the near side, unfurls one towards the end zone. It is dropped in the end zone. No pass interference call. That is tragic. Absolutely tragic. A Seaside player was hugging the ankles of the receiver in the... No flag on the field, and Henley is beside themselves.
I think everybody sitting in this stadium is beside themselves. That was a pretty easy call to make. The defender had slipped and fallen to the ground, and his only recourse was to try to grab the ankles of the offensive player, which he did. Tough break for him. And the ball was thrown well. That ball would have been caught.
Hit him right in the chest.
Yeah.
All right, 1st and 10 Seaside from the 26. This is going to be a hand up the middle. White is stuffed. A small gain on the play.
So now you have to become a little bit concerned because we know Seaside can run the football. If they're doing a nice job moving the ball, that clock will run, and Henley's running out of possessions here. So it's imperative to get a defensive stop here.
Each team does have 3 timeouts with 6:15 to go in the final period. Henley again down by a score, 21-14. 2nd and 7 from the Seaside 29. As the Seagulls content to begin to wear down this clock. Crashour is going to hand it off to White, who comes along to the near side. White sheds 1 tackle, but is wrapped up after a gain of about 6 yards on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Chris Janney making the stop, and it's just short of a 1st down. This is a big play, 3rd and about 1 or 2. Crashour's a hard runner. He really helped his cause on that one. He ran over a few people trying to get that 1st down.
3rd and 1. Seaside this half is 1 for 3 on 3rd down conversions, but just 3 feet to go. So we hit the 5-minute mark, left to go in the 4th. Crashour is going to hand that one off to White, and broke through a couple of tackles and brought down after a solid gain. Call it a gain of 10 and a Seaside 1st down.
Another hard run. And Seaside's going to take all the time they can here.
Again, each team has 3 timeouts. Henley has time to try to engineer a stop.
Seaside's ground game coming back to life. Hornets did a pretty good job of stopping it for the most part in this half, but right now we're seeing them dominate again.
1st and 10 from the Seaside 45. As the Seagulls approach the football, Crashour under center, 3 backs in the backfield as Jackson moves up. Crashour, the snap, hand off to White, who gets clipped in the backfield before falling forward for a gain of 4. Solid gain on that play. He was hit at about the line of scrimmage, but he fell forward for a gain of 4.
Yeah, they're showing no signs of fatigue, the running backs for Seaside. And their conditioning is paying off here. Just under 4 minutes now.
2nd and 6 to go for the Seagulls, who lead this game 21-14 with 3:45 to go in the ball game. Crashour content to take his time, finally under center now. Snap, handoff to White, who gets wrapped up in the backfield and brought down for a loss of 3. Big defensive play there by the Hornets, gets him back.
Is that Cohen Redmond? That was a great play. Pursued from the backside and made a super tackle, and it brings up a 3rd and very long here.
3rd. Seaside has had some luck on 3rd down tonight. In 9 attempts, they've converted 6 times. And yeah, Seaside has not yet approached the football, and I think we're going to get a timeout called by the Hornets. No, timeout Seaside. So with that timeout taken, we're going to take a timeout as well as we continue your coverage of Henley football as the Hornets trail 21-14 in the 4th and final quarter of Week 1 on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily. And
3rd and 6 from their own 47. 3rd and 8, pardon me. Crashour trying to direct traffic in the backfield as Seaside was the team to call a timeout. Crashour under center. It's a misdirection to White. He cuts upfield for a gain of 4 or 5 yards. It brings up 4th down, and the Hornets will call time. It's a fine time to remind you that this game is brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza. Refuel after the game at Mountain Mike's Pizza. You've earned a pizza made with 100% whole milk mozzarella and toppings piled so high that you'll need a mountain guide to reach the top. Mountain Mike's Pizza on Washburn near Walmart Shopping Center. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be. It'll be 4th down for Seaside. 4th and 3. Big play coming up. Now, be interesting to get in the head of Seaside head coach, Coach Tanabe. You go for it here. You're at about midfield. The yard to gain is the Henley 45. You have the lead. It's 4th and 3. Decision time over there on that other sideline.
Yeah, I think I would kick it, given the time and the way the defense has played this half, but who knows what they'll do. Their running game's been sharp for most of the game.
It looks like it's going to be a punt. No, maybe not.
Well, nobody's back for Henley to field the punt.
And it is going to be a punt. It is high into the sky, bouncing at the 10, taking a beautiful bounce for Seaside, and that ball gets kicked. They are going to call that one a touchback, so Henley will take over at the 20.
That's a little bit of a break for the Hornets. They gained about 15 yards on that.
Certainly.
And so they'll have just over 2 minutes. And that's plenty of time. They have 2 timeouts.
2 timeouts and 2:19 to go. You talked about the quick strike ability of the Henley offense. Now's the time to show us what that's about, Kevin.
Yeah, we knew this game was going to be wild, that it was going to be a close one, and we've got a good finish lined up right here.
All right, Henley football.
Each team still has 2 timeouts, as we mentioned, and it looks like one of them is being taken here. Not quite sure who the timeout is credited to. We'll try to find out in just a minute, but a great time to remind you that this game is brought to you by Klamath Falls Subaru. Through the Subaru Love Promise and Subaru Share the Love events, Klamath Falls Subaru has donated thousands of dollars to dozens of hometown charities. Comfortable and not corporate at Klamath Falls Subaru. Stop by and say hi. Henley's offense has really been humming here in the second half if you don't look at the scoreboard. Some penalties have really bitten Henley in the end. Some no calls have bitten Henley a little bit as well. I think the offense has looked good here in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. The offense, you can see the potential's there.
Yes.
They just had some breaks not go their way, and they're not scoring the number of points we expect them to score.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Down by 7, 21-14 in the final 2:19 of the ball game. Starting 1st and 10 from their own 20. It's crunch time for the Hornets. Stork takes the snap, rolling to his right, looking over midfield. He's going to cut up and try to take it himself. He is wrapped up and brought down after a gain of 4. That'll bring up 2nd down.
And the clock is running.
2:03 to go. The Hornets are going to be quick to the football here. We'll try to key in on the creativity of their quarterback, Shaw Stork. The snap at 1:52. Stork drops back to pass. Feels the pressure. Looks over the middle. The pass is caught. And that's a 1st down. Brought up past the 42. And that is a great throw and catch.
Wide open in the seam in the middle of the field. And Shaw made a nice throw. Thing about high school is when you get a 1st down, the clock does stop till they move the chains. So that'll stop the clock for just a second for the Hornets.
1st and 10. Stork drops back to pass. This time looking to the near sideline, and it is incomplete. Intended target was Owen Sheen on the near sideline, and so now the clock stops in earnest. 2nd and 10 from the 44-yard line.
It's a good idea to get the ball to the sideline. If you can make that catch and step out, you'll stop the clock.
All right, 2nd and 10. 1:30 to go in the ball game. Henley down by a score, 21-14. It's a handoff to Whitlock. He's going to bounce around to the outside. He's got a little bit of room. Finds his way up past the 50, up past the 45, down in before the 40. Dragged out of bounds, and the clock will stop at 1:21. 16-yard gain on the play for Whitlock and a Hornets 1st down.
Nifty call by Coach Paschy there. Calling a run play in this situation. A big break and a big gain.
All right, 1st and 10 as the clock continues to run. Apparently no out of bounds as it is at the Seaside 38. Pass to the near side completed by Sheen. He's going to cut back over the middle of the field. Gets up inside the 30. Brought down before reaching the 25.
That should be enough for a 1st down, so the clock will stop for us. And Henley can line up on the football while they're moving the chains.
All right, 1st and 10, 57 seconds left to go. Henley at the Seaside 25. Stork drops back to pass, fires one to the sideline, and it is caught. Clock continues to run. It was a gain of 3, and timeout is called with 43 seconds to go. That's Henley's 2nd timeout of the half, I believe. There was a timeout called earlier. We didn't quite know who to credit it to. So this is Henley's last timeout? So that was Henley's 2nd timeout. They've got 1 left to go. And we'll remind you that this broadcast is brought to you by Les Schwab Tires. Having the right set of tires and wheels on your vehicle is just part of an essential safety checklist. That's why Les Schwab does more than install just tires and wheels. Come on in for a free pre-trip safety check, and they're going to make sure that everything is in working order at Les Schwab Tires. They've been doing the right thing since 1952. Also, special thanks to the folks at Coldwell Banker, Home and Premier Realty. Little things can add up to big bills when you're buying, selling, or owning a home. And Coldwell Banker Home and Premier Realty's exclusive Beyond the Sale guarantees protect buyers, sellers, and homeowners from unexpected repair bills. To learn more, call Coldwell Banker Home and Premier Realty today. 2nd and 9, 43 seconds to go. They're at the 24.
That last play was strange. The ball was bobbled and it looked like it was dropped, but he did make the catch, so it was a short gain. And Henley now does have 1 timeout left in the game.
All right, we're ready to go.
All right, 2nd and 9.
2nd and 9. Stork drops back to pass. The pass is caught by Janney over the middle. A first down for the Hornets. Will stop the clock momentarily, 35 seconds. That'll make it 1st and 10 from the 11. The Hornets driving downfield, trying to make this a ball game. Stork drops back to pass again. Feels the pressure, moving up in the pocket, unleashes it towards the end zone, incomplete. 25 seconds to go, 2nd and 10 from the 11.
That catch by Janney on that last play, that was all hands. The ball threw a little bit behind him and was a bullet, and he made a nice grab over the middle to get that gainer. And the incomplete pass is almost a good thing. The clock stops now. Henley can regroup.
And it looks like a timeout is going to be taken by Seaside. So that will be their final timeout. Henley with one remaining with 25 seconds to go in the ball game. The Hornets down 21-14, and they're going to come back with 2nd and 10 at the 13-yard line. My mistake on the spot, but it's coming down to it, Kevin. It's only week 1.
Yeah, well, we figured this would happen. This has been a great game. Seaside, a good timeout there, I'd say. Coach probably telling his kids here, line. Everything else doesn't matter. Henley needs a touchdown, so they're going to be protecting the goal line. Henley's going to have to find a way to get up to it and through it. So we'll see what the defense dials up here, if they want to put pressure on Shaw or if they want to drop back.
I'd like to remind you in the meantime that this game is brought to you by Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club. They've got the most understanding trainers you can ask for. They help you get motivated, and their workouts will make you feel accomplished all day. Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness wants you to lose those reins and get your gains. Here we go, 2nd and 10 from the 13. Stork takes the snap, looks to his right. High pass towards the end zone is dropped in the corner. A diving attempt, but coming up empty. 3rd and 10, 18.9 to go.
Shaw just put that ball up for his guy to get it, and he almost made his way over there. Luke Bennett almost got to that ball, and it fell in the corner of the end zone, incomplete. That brings up 3rd down. We have about 18 seconds left.
So if this ball ends up stopping the clock, without a doubt, Henley's going to be in 4-down territory with almost no time left on the clock. So a couple of plays and a timeout left for the Hornets with 18.9 to go. All right, 3rd and 10. Stork rolling to his right, has some blockers, cuts upfield, fires it towards the end zone. It's caught, but short. It's into the 2-yard line, 11 seconds to go. That'll be a 1st down. The clock is stopped.
If Henley should spike the football here and stop the clock.
Hornets are hurrying up. Clock is rolling now, 11 seconds. Stork is going to hand it off to Whitlock, who tries to bounce around to the outside. He is wrapped up and brought down after 3 seconds left on the clock. The Hornets take their final timeout with 2.5 seconds left on the clock. And we're going to be in for a final play of the game situation as Whitlock was stood up at the 4-yard line.
I didn't think Henley would run a play there, and they handed off to Whitlock, and he had a chance. But good defensive play by the Seaside. And that brings us to the final play. We have one play. Where's the ball spot?
It looks to me to be at the 4.
About the 4.
Yeah.
So Henley's going to have one down from the 4-yard line.
One final play. Overtime on the line. It's week 1. We couldn't have asked for a better ball game. In this timeout, I'd like to remind you that this game is brought to you by the wonderful folks at Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Picking the right path can make the journey easier, the distance shorter, and can assure that you end up at the right place. Whether you're dreaming of owning a home or you just want a great checking account, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union can help you reach your goals. Teams head out onto the field for one final play tonight from Seaside, Oregon. The Hornets down by a score and a chance to convert here. 21-14, 3.5 to go, one play to decide it. A man in motion. Stork takes the snap. He drops back to pass. The field, and the Hornets are within 1. It'll take an extra point to tie this game or a win with a 2-point conversion.
Luke Bennett's had a heck of a game. Luke Bennett made that catch. Shaw put that ball on the money, and he threw it hard. What a great play, gutsy play with no time left on the clock. And we're an extra point away from overtime here.
Or are we a 2-point conversion away from a Henley win?
Well, we'll see what Coach Stork draws up here.
They've got the momentum. Coach Stork is away from the huddle. He's coming back in. Here we go. It looks to me like the offense is out there.
They're going for the win.
We're going to have a winner after this play, ladies and gentlemen. A 2-point conversion from 2 yards away. The score 21-20. Stork awaits the snap. Takes it. He's rolling out to his right. He's got some room. He is into the end zone. Henley wins on an extra point, and we're going to talk with Shaw Stork after the game as the Henley Hornets walk it off here on Seaside. What a ball game.
Unbelievable. And for those of you who were around a few years ago up here, there was another last-second win as well by the Hornets. They just won't give up. They never say quit. And they had some adversity, and they came through with the win. What a game, Josh.
Could not have asked for a better one in week 1 as these Seaside faithful go home unhappy. The Hornets triumph on the road in week 1. They come away with a 22-21 victory. We're going to try our best to talk to Shaw Stork coming up as we present our Mountain Mike's player of the game in just a few minutes. We're going to take a break and we'll be back. 22-21 the final. The Hornets come back and win this one on the road.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
The road can be a crazy place. Uh-oh! That's why Les Schwab Tires fixes brakes, steering, and more. And those guys don't. Keep driving. I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first, so I can backseat drive with confidence.
Hit the road safely with Les Schwab and save up to $200 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
All right, what a ball game it's been. 22-21 the final as the Hornets come away with an upset victory on the road. They came back and in the final drive of the game sewed up the victory on an 8-play drive. Took them 2 minutes and 19 seconds. They ended up after that touchdown down by a score. The 2-point conversion sealed the deal. Kevin, how would you describe this football game?
Well, it's just like we thought it was going to be. Two very good teams playing each other. Henley just couldn't really get their offense going, and then that last drive they just showed up with a little bit of magic and just enough to win the game. You know, I really like at the end they decided to go for two. You know, Shaw Stork, arguably the best player in the state in 4A. He's been getting a lot of coverage, and you put the ball in his hands, and let me tell you, he had the option to either throw or run. He made a good decision, used his speed to get to the end, and got that conversion. Just really good clutch football by Henley down the stretch there.
Without a doubt, going into that final drive, you had your questions of whether or not Henley could get down the field in that amount of time, and they did it just in the nick of time. The only score of the second half, by the way, credited to the Hornets. The touchdown was scored on a 4-yard touchdown catch by Luke Bennett, another play which Shaw Stork engineered with a good hard pass. And really, what more can you say about him? We're going to try to talk to him here in just a few minutes. He's going to join us in the press box when the Hornets are done meeting down there at midfield. But, man, what a great Week 1 win. As we go by some of the numbers tonight, really, I think you could say on the offensive side of the ball, Seaside had a fantastic night too. I mean, they had some real great drives this game, a 13-play drive that converted into points, an 8-play drive that converted into points, and Henley somehow found a way to stick it to him in that second half.
Right, Henley just had they had composure, I felt is the key word. They had enough seniors and enough kids with experience that they didn't melt down at the end there. They kept their composure, and they got that last touchdown and that last conversion. I think we may have seen, we saw some players show up tonight. You know, we were kind of wondering who's going to fill the void. Luke Bennett played very well. Logan Whitlock played very well, among others. So Bennett with that great touchdown catch late in the game. So we saw a lot from the Hornets. I think that the potential is there, and we could see that tonight against a good team on the road.
First score came for Jake White. He converted on a 1-yard touchdown, and the Henley Hornets answered back for the second score of the game. Logan Whitlock punched it in from 5 yards out. They missed the extra point on the kick, and that is why the 2-point conversion really came back to help the Hornets there in the end. The third and fourth scores of the game went to Seaside and went to Jake White as he punched it in from 2 yards. He broke off a big 30-yard play as well. It was 21-14 at the end of the first half, and Henley, both teams really stuck it to each other in the third quarter. There were some penalties that might have not been called. There were some penalties that were called, some good special teams on both sides, and it finally came down to the last possession as Luke Bennett caught the touchdown and Shaw Stork punched in the 2-point conversion for the win. For the Henley Hornets tonight, they had 11 first downs, compared that to 12 for Seaside. Tonight for Henley, they were also 0 for 3 on third down conversions, but they were a perfect 2 for 2 on fourth down conversions. Meantime, for Seaside, 5 times out of 9 on third down. They were also a perfect 2 for 2 on fourth down conversions. We're trying our best to get Shaw Stork up here in the booth in just a minute, and we're going to talk with him and get the Mountain Mike's player of the game. We'll tell you what that means coming up in just a few minutes when we are joined by Shaw Stork up in the booth here at Seaside. The final score tonight, Henley with a 1-point victory over Seaside, 22-21 to improve to 1-0 on the young 2022 campaign. We'll have Shaw Stork on the post-game show next on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
During COVID, I gained over 24 pounds. I lost motivation in working out. I lost motivation in eating healthy. And for me, if I'm not active, I just don't eat well. But then I started taking a class at Harbor's gym called High Low. The first week I felt like I didn't fit in and I couldn't do it. But the instructor was so kind and thanked me for coming and told me how well I did. I was like, no, I wasn't, but it made me come back the next week and the next week. And soon enough, I was keeping up with the class. I started introducing more classes and then going Saturdays. I learned how to lift weights accurately with repetition. I started lifting on my own. I started golfing too with my husband. And all of a sudden, I was buying salads instead of sandwiches. Small victories happened week by week, and it's 100% because of Harbor, their staff, their gym, the golf. My husband is getting out of the house and working out with me. His golf game is increasing. We're lifting.
Shaw Stork joining us here on the post-game show in just a minute on 104.3 and 960 Sports. I see him jogging on the field. He's giving hugs. He made a spectacular play to finish out the ball game. When you're in crunch time, the saying goes, you got to get the ball in the hands of your best player. And if you're watching the video stream, there he is, walking up the aisle, approaching about 20 yards away. Get up here, man. Get up here. He's walking. That's okay. Shaw Stork had a splendid game. He did it with his legs. He did it with his arm as well, with Luke Bennett connecting on that final play of the game, as he's going to be joining us here in just a minute as we present him as our Mountain Mike's player of the game, as the Hornets improve to 1-0 on the season. As he is coming up here in just a minute. I'll have you grab that headset, throw it on. Take a seat, young man. You had quite the ball game. All right, Shaw. Talk to me about that final play of the game, what that huddle was like as you guys ultimately decided to go for two there.
So we had completed a 80-yard drive to finish it off for a touchdown. And luckily, our whole team stayed composed and had poise, because even though it was, a terrific drive that, most of the time rarely happens, we all kept it together and kept our cool, and we all did our jobs, and we got into the end zone. And then I think it was just, you feel it when you want to go for two. You feel that momentum and energy, and you just know there's something inside you. And we called up the play. My brother Alex said, do it to the right. It was a stretch pass. I was supposed to pass the ball. And our offensive coordinator said, left, run to the left. And he was screaming in my face, but we ran it to the left. And instead of passing it, I just ran it in because he was stuffed. So, just thank God for everything, that drive, this team. Thank you for Seaside. I was so blessed to play such a tough opponent in the first week. They gave us everything we could have got, Such a great look for our first week, and I'm excited to see where both of us teams go in this season.
You talk about the X's and O's of that final play. Talk to me about the emotion when you finally, the final buzzer sounds and you guys are declared winners. Talk to me about the emotion. I saw you hugging just about everyone who was in attendance tonight.
So it was pretty much surreal. I ran it in and almost didn't register immediately. I kind of ran it in, and then I looked to the right, and I just saw all the sidelines swarming the field, the fans. And so I just had to take it, and as I was sprinting around, and then I kind of had an emotion crash and just sat down and started tearing up because, we just had such a beautiful weekend of bonding and just our team and a bunch of leaders just coming out and making sure that this first game was going to set the tone for the rest of the season. Talk to me about some of the kind of teamwork you guys did this weekend, because you guys came up here to Seaside yesterday. Did you enjoy the beach at all yesterday? What did you guys get up to? We went to the beach. Seaside's a beautiful town. We walked around downtown, went to the arcade, went around to the, best seafood restaurants. And to end the night before we went to bed, and we did the Y jar. We do it, every year. And you write why you want to play football, and you put it on a sticky note, and you can speak if you want to, or you can just put it in the jar. It's up to you. It's a personal thing. And it was the first year at Henley every player spoke, and everybody just had such amazing things to say, and our captains just got up there and just talked straight from the heart, and we had some really, special bonding and just relationship building over the weekend, and it was so much more than football.
Well, Shaw, I'm really happy to present you as the Mountain Mike's player of the game. You got $25 voucher to Mountain Mike's. Mountain Mike's, you can refuel after the game with Mountain Mike's Pizza. You earned one, 100% whole mozzarella, toppings piled so high. Shaw, you're going to need a mountain guide to get to the top of that pizza. Mountain Mike's Pizza, Washburn Way near Walmart Shopping Center. Mountain Mike's Pizza the way it ought to be. Shaw, congratulations on the Week 1 win. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Shaw Stork, our Mountain Mike's player of the game this week on 104.3 and 960 Sports. We're going to take one more final break on the post-game show, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's up next for the Hornets and wrap up this ball game for you as the Henley Hornets come away with a 22-21 win on the road at Seaside on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD on mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I love to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon, soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
And we're back on 104.3 960 Sports, HD video on mybasin.com. Henley coming away with a Week 1 win, 22-21. I'm Josh Eldridge, joined by Kevin Petrick tonight. Kevin, final words about this game. What a night it was.
What a great game. What a great high school game. The crowd was into it. The kids played hard. It was well coached. Just a lot right about tonight, and a great win for Henley. I mean, nobody saw it coming. Probably the biggest surprise for me, up until the last 2 seconds of the game, Henley had only scored 14 points.
Right.
And we know about their offense and all their talent, and that's something that they're going to want to improve on as they go. They need to score more than 14. They needed 22 tonight, and they got 22.
22-21 the final. The Hornets getting the Week 1 win. Still plenty of action coming up for the Hornets as they will visit Crater next week and then get started with league play against Ashland on September 16th. Kevin, we've talked about how tough this conference is going to be. A Week 1 victory was very important, I think, for momentum, for confidence, for a lot of things. This win's going to go a long way when we get to league play.
Yeah, it was important. And if you believe the poll, Seaside was what, 12 or 13?
Yeah, they were receiving votes. I don't know if they got an official ranking, but they were up there.
Right. So it beat a good team on the road, and that will help their poll numbers later. So that was a huge win for Henley.
This about does it for us tonight. We really appreciate you joining us on 104.3 and 960 Sports. HD video on mybasin.com as the Henley Hornets have come away with a 22-21 win. We'd like to thank a couple of the folks that made this broadcast possible tonight. Of course, the wonderful folks here at Seaside, all the gentlemen up in the booth with me, as well as coach and athletic director Aaron Tanabe, making sure that we were all taken care of up here in the booth. And of course, Henley head coach as well, Alex Stork, for working with us for the broadcast, and also Luke Hammond, the athletic director at Henley, about ready to start school of his first year at athletic director on Tuesday.
That's right.
And really just appreciate everyone who's made this broadcast possible. The final score tonight, 22-21. The Henley Hornets securing a Week 1 win. For Kevin Petrick, I'm Josh Eldridge saying good night from Seaside, Oregon.